Hello Spurs fans, Paul here, and I'm here to correct an outrageous injustice that I've been seeing on the internet recently. Two of my favourite channels, this home I'm in now, the IrishHotspur, and We Are Tottenham TV. Shame on you Ben and Sim, shame on you Jack and David. I turned in to look at your who's going to be the next manager of Spurs lists, and both of you outrageously discounted the fantastic Ange Postecoglou. Ben and Sim put him into underwhelming. They were doing a tier list, so like below average. We'll stick Ange down here. And to my chagrin and horror, David and Jack didn't even talk about him. They said, well, there's loads of contenders. We're not going to bother talking about the ones we don't really think are up to it. They gave him a big red cross. So I'm here to tell you why Ange Postecoglou is the man. Let's start off with the elephant in the room, his experience. Now, look, I'll give you a bit of latitude over this because this is exactly what I heard all the Celtic fans say. Let's talk about his experience. He currently has more experience combined than both Ferguson and Wenger put together before they got jobs at Man United and Twats FC. So don't give me this not enough experience. Ange Postecoglou, more than experience, is the man for the job. He's a man of integrity. He'd win you over with his first conference. But let's look at what he's done in the game. He managed the Australian youth team, had trouble there. He won a premiership as a player, which I don't think those other two did they? And not only did he win a premiership when he was playing for, I think it's South Melbourne FC, South Melbourne Hellas. He was coached by the one and only Ferenc Puskas. Yeah, you know that award they give to a Spurs player every year for scoring a fancy goal? He coached Ange Postecoglou. Ange Postecoglou, a Greek migrant from Greece, moved to Australia with his family. Football is in his blood. He knows how important football is. He knows it's more than just kicking a football around. It's a thing that we've assigned importance to get away from the humdrum of bloody life in general. That's what football is. It's fantastic. He won as a manager a premiership with South Melbourne. Went on to manage Australia. Took them over just as we were in the World Cup. Got them to play well out of their skins. And then qualified us for the next game. Was given all sorts of shit on a stick by Soccer Australia or whatever, those clowns in the admin, in their suits and their leather couches. You know what football administrators are like. They're just bullshit all the year, the world over. Doesn't matter if it's UEFA, the FA, FIFA. Soccer Australia are a bag of shite as well. They might be called Football Australia now, rebranded, who knows. But he didn't take any shit from them. He qualified Australia for the World Cup and then just said, yeah, fuck you, and off he went. And where did he go? Well, I forgot to say before that, I think it was, he managed Brisbane. Now, the A-League here, give you a bit of clue on football in Australia. It's not the most popular sport by a long way. What it used to be up until, the late 90s, early 2000s, more ethnic based. So you had clubs called like St George Budapest or South Melbourne Hellas, Sydney Marconi. So clubs are really based around your origin of birth or your family for birth. The standard was feisty. It was brutal, actually. Talk about trouble in the crowd. It was, I didn't think it was too much, actually. I thought it was quite, it meant something, and it made the game much more passionate. They flowered it up and tidied it up in the early 2000s, and now it's the A-League, and it's a right bag of boring old cack. But one bright spot of that was Ange managing a team called the Brisbane Roar, and he took them to 32 undefeated games on the way to a premiership. So anyway, did a stint with Australia, where he won us the Asian Cup. Again, more experienced than Fergie, who? Wenger, who? Can't hear what you're talking about. Ange has got trophies coming out of his bottom. Then he said bye-bye to Australia, left on his terms after falling out with the Suits. Got yet another championship in J-League. So, yeah, that's something Wenger at least did. Before going to manage in Scotland. As I say, all the Celtic fans were big question marks over this guy. and he's won them over with the first press conference. What you can expect to see from Ange is few sketchy results before he implements his system, which is a 4-3-3 or a 4-1-2. Anyway, look, the main thing is it's 4 at the back, like football should be. Not spending over half your bloody man resources trying to stop a goal, for fuck's sake. He's on the front foot. Now, Celtic in the Premier, in the Champions League, I found them much more entertaining than Tottenham to watch. They drew a couple of games, they lost all their games, but I tell you what, they took it. They took it to teams like Real Madrid. They were on the front foot, and they were talking, we're talking about fine margins of error, and also experience at that level. As usually the last 20 minutes they started struggling, didn't put away the chances, many chances they created. But you know what, Celtic are a learning team. Ange Postecoglou is always seeking to improve. He's never cooked. He's always cooking. And that's something that Tottenham ain't doing at the moment. And I guarantee you, if an Ange Postecoglou Spurs Celtic side played a Conte, whoever the fuck, defensive manager of the week we get in at Tottenham, Celtic would absolutely kick our ass. Now, you got to. In my mind, Postecoglou is one of the world's best managers in the world. I'm not just saying this because I live in Australia. There's plenty of Australian managers that ain't fit to manage Port Vale, let alone Tottenham. I wouldn't be saying this if I wasn't serious. This is beyond nationalism and silly old bollocks that humanity indulges in from time to time. I'm a club person first. This first. My nationality's all over the fucking place anyway. But this is the badge that counts. Ange Postecoglou is the man. No doubt about it. He's football through and through. The only reasons I am reticent about him taking the job is I would hate to see a man spat out like that by Levy, or just not treated well. I think Ange could play the politics, and he's used to not having to sign Bastoni and all that. Like these other muppets like Mourinho and Conte, they were all given on a plate, all cooked up, bit of Garnet, whereas Postecoglou being the hands in the kitchen peeling the spuds. That's what we want, a potato peeler, a grassroots guy that wants to play the beautiful game the way the beautiful game should be played. And that starts with peeling spuds, not prawns and juice on a little medallion of pork. Potatoes, man. That's what men eat. And the other thing is, I think why he might not take the job is, I don't think he's going to leave Celtic mid-season, so we would have to endure a few games of Ryan Le Maison in charge, which I don't think is going to be any good. But fuck it, we've lost top 4 already anyway. I think Postecoglou might well hang out and try and fancy himself the Liverpool job. He was a Liverpool fan when he was a kid. So what the Scousers would gain, we would lose. And he ain't going to step into some, another stepping stone Premier League club. I mean, I don't know why the bloody hell anyone would move from a club as massive as Celtic to Crystal Palace or Fulham or Bournemouth or Wolves or whoever the fuck. Celtic is a big club, and I think a lot of the criticism also comes from, dare I say it, a bit of English snobbery, people that don't actually watch the Scottish Premier League. I watch it a bit now, mainly because I've been following Postecoglou for years. And I'll tell you what, it is feisty, it is hard-working, and it is very entertaining, and it's a lot more... It's got a lot more grit in it than this namby-pamby game we play in England at the moment. So don't write off Scottish football. Every time Celtic or Rangers go around to one of these clubs, these little teams want to kick the shit out of them. So yes, even though it tends to boil down to how Celtic and Rangers would win, sometimes you get a team that is so fucking awesome like Celtic are this year, they just blow everyone else away. So I just wanted to set the record straight. Internet, you're wrong. Ben and Sim, you're wrong. Jack and David, you're wrong. Ange Postecoglou is the man for the job. No doubt about it. Come on, you Spurs. Et là, eh?